Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, so I am here today with a special edition of Lift and Sketch with Christy and Rachel. I am playing along with Christy and some others in her 30 days of sketches. So today we are using that page map sketch, which is actually, I believe, an 8.5 by 11, but I'm going to translate it into a 12 by 12. All right, today I am working with one photo rather than two smaller ones and using Maggie Holmes' Flourish line. I don't have a ton of it left, but I do have a couple full-size pieces of pattern paper and I brought in some white cardstock. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use, whether I'm going to use the cardstock or some pattern paper. We shall see. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead, get you put on fast forward. Don't forget, I will put in the description box below a link to Christy's video and also to anyone else who is joining her on her 30 days of sketches. So go ahead and let's get going. So with this layout, I have an idea to do with those die cuts, and something I talk about in many of my videos is that using your supplies for you rather than specifically for how the manufacturer is meant for you to use them. So if that means, pulling things apart that are lifted up on a foam sticker, or if you need to just use a portion of something. So I have an idea about those die cuts. Um, so I'll get into that obviously once we do. First thing I'm going to do is map my photo. And when I go to do it, I think I was distracted by something and I didn't press my uh, trimmer blade up against that metal guide. So everything ended up being super duper wonky. I don't do that very often, so I was actually really surprised myself. So I end up having to go back and recut. I recut a couple now, and then when I look at it in a minute, I'm like, oh, that is still not straight. So I end up having to recut basically everything. But the really good thing about the Caterpillar crop is you can trim off the slimmest bit of paper, and so I don't really lose a lot of the mat. So what I'm thinking is doing the photo and then having that botanical print be the vertical column of the sketch. Now in the original sketch, there's a different pattern paper at the top and at the bottom, but I'm thinking I would rather have just one continuous piece. And I really do love this botanical print. I'm so like this is kind of one where I was slightly hoarding it. Like I wanted to have it where there was a good enough chunk of it that you could actually see a good portion of the paper, not just a little sliver, not a mat, because I didn't think it would look good as a mat. So what I did is it's called Perennial, and I did remember that time. I just forgot the first one because I'm silly. Uh, so what I did was I cut it to 6 inches, so it's the exact width of my photo, and that way what hangs over my photo is just the mat. So here I have the die cut pack, and one of the things that everyone mentioned when Flourish came out was that all the die cuts were huge, and they are. So for me, if it doesn't work in its original form, find a way to make it work so that you like it. So the truth is, I'm probably most likely never going to use these giant pieces of ephemera. So instead, what I'm going to do is trim those off in half and use them both on the right and left-hand sides of that botanical piece as a border. So in the sketch, it's a scalloped border. For my layout, I'm going to be using several different pieces of ephemera just tucked behind the botanical print. So for me, that is using my supplies in a way that works for me. I don't need giant swans or a scallop bunny oval piece, but a little black and coppery gold swirl on the side of a pattern paper, that totally works for me. Now, beyond what's going on the sides, I grabbed that tag, which actually I had already trimmed down because I did use a piece of that just for that blue color on another layout. And then I layered that label die cut over it, and that's where my journaling is going to go. I am not going to journal on in this video. I have it written down, and I was too lazy to go and get it. So it's not a lot of journaling. There are several layouts about this trip. So I'm basically just writing that we gathered together in the lobby of the hotel for a group shot wearing our t-shirts that we got for the crop. So you'll see I'm now gluing down all of the pieces I cut apart, and I'm not matching them up. So I'm not having that blue piece from the blue piece and the craft floral across from the craft floral. I wanted a more eclectic look rather than a matchy-matchy look. And I think one piece I don't end up adding on the two sides. And I'm going to add another piece because when I add that yellow ticket piece that's over on the right-hand side that I'm putting in right now, you can still see some of the words on it, and I didn't necessarily want that, so I go back and find something else to add on top of that. So I'm adding the yellow piece to the left-hand side. I like symmetry, but I wanted kind of like off-kilter symmetry. So now I'm looking for something to cover that, I think it says Sunday. And I find the bottom of this botanical print that says happy heart. And these ladies do give me a happy heart. And I thought that would work well. So I'm just going to glue that right on top of the yellow ticket. So now I am happy with how my borders are looking. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my entire block O paper and photo. And that makes me happy. Now I'm going to layer this vellum tag on top of, in the original sketch is where the title goes, but I saw that title and I was like, oh, that rosette would be perfect there because it's got that dimension and all the circular piece, and I'm like, I know that's where the title is supposed to go, but I think I'm going to do the rosette instead and just put the title next to it. Now I have this gold heart. I don't know necessarily if it's actually washi tape, but it came from Freckled Fawn as their washi tape for their monthly bag. Oh, and then Xanthi wanted to investigate it. So I bought, they had like clearance grab bags, and that was something I got in them. And so I'm going to use that in the sketch. It's like a stitched line over some paper, and I don't sew. So this seemed to me a really good facsimile of what that was. I'm also going to add that crepe paper flower. And now I'm going to work on my title. I went and got this comes from the Chamel box of crayons line, the word friends. And then I also grabbed from Paige Evans, I don't know what line it came in because this actually came in my Wild Hair Kit Club kit. So that was a mix of things, but I thought it would be absolutely perfect with the colors of our shirts and that pop of blue. So having the navy title would be perfect. So my entire title is going to be Hello Peep Friends. And then I'm also going to add a couple of the glittered hearts from that box of crayons stickers as well. And then I decide, just for fun, I'm going to add that little flag of swans because heck, why not? All right, folks, I am almost finished here. I'm going to add some white or cream enamel dots in the tags, as well as, that's Xanthi being obnoxious, sorry, tags, as well as just in threes around my layout. So and the last thing I'm going to do, sorry, I got distracted by my phone. The last thing I'm going to do is add some Heidi Slop navy color shine in a very controlled manner, and that is going to finish up my layout once I fluff up that crepe flower. All right, folks, thank you guys so much for joining me here. Make sure you head on over to Christy's channel and whoever else I link in the description box below. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.